and balanced, unbiased and clear, concise and accurate. This is the DBS Evening News. Here now is your presenter with the headlines.
In the headlines, a decision by government to reduce the price of certain food items for the next 6 months comes into effect tomorrow. In the New Summer region, nurses want urgent talks on CARICOM open borders impact. Internationally, Iran says U.S. deporting 120 Iranians after deal struck with Tehran. The details of these stories and more are coming up next.
It's in the meaning in our squad. It is the thing that sets us apart. Who we are. Cause the rhythm of life is pumping. Together going strong. No matter what, we keep this going. People, we will go all in. Hands up in the sky. Celebrate and come let your rhythm flow.
DBS News.
And welcome back. A special good evening to our listeners of Acoustic Worship Radio. First off, a decision by government to reduce the price of certain food items for the next 6 months comes into effect tomorrow. These food items will be exempted from the value-added tax or VAT.
The public is reminded that effective October 1, 2025, until March 31, 2026, a number of essential food items shall be exempted from VAT as instructed by the Minister of Finance during the 2025-2026 National Budget Address. During this 6-month period, VAT will not be charged on the following items when imported or at any point during the sale process. These items are codfish, salted herring, onions, garlic, split peas, black-eyed peas, red kidney beans, lentils, pigeon peas, oats, cream of wheat, cornmeal, luncheon meat, canned corned beef, canned herring, canned sardines, canned tunas, canned mackerel, cereal, unsweetened biscuits, orange juice, tomato ketchup, toothpastes, laundry detergents, toilet paper, and sanitary towels and tampons. Additionally, the following items will also be relieved from customs duty during the same period: pigeon peas, luncheon meat, canned corned beef, cereal, unsweetened biscuits, orange juice, tomato ketchup, toothpastes, laundry detergents, almond milk, and soy milk.
Assistant Comptroller at Inland Revenue, Jeffrey Joseph. Acting Police Chief Lincoln Corbett and his Deputy Jeffrey James are taking up a new acting appointment for 3 months, effective October 1, 2025. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit says the decision will be taken on any future appointments by end of this year.
In respect to the Police Chief, there will be a further extension of the acting stint by 3 months to take effect on October 1. And of course, during that time, a decision will be made on the permanent appointments of the Chief and Deputy Chief. But we do have a Chief of Police in place, and the Chief and Deputy Chief have all of the authority to carry out their duties and mandate as the officers in charge of the overall leadership of the police force. So, and they have my full confidence to carry duties as Chief and Deputy Chief.
And that was the Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit. 250 homes are currently being constructed under the Government of Dominica's housing program. On Monday, 21 families were presented with keys to new homes in the Scottshead community. Minister for Housing, Melissa Poppon-Skerrit, says additional homes will be handed over before the end of this year.
I want to remind everyone today that these homes were built with funds from the CBI program. And it's not just here. We have many other housing sites under construction across Dominica, all funded by the CBI program. About 240 units are under construction. Just last week, we handed over 16 homes to families of Eggleston. And I want to say that it doesn't end here. I'm calling, if the people of Woodford Hill are listening, Kenfield, Penville, Paybush, Vekas, Trafalgar, Pont Michel, we're coming back to the south, Dubic, Grand Bay. Your turn is coming very soon, before the end of this year. In Pont Michel, we have about 18 new homes, and we have an additional 7 homes under the Housing Recovery Project, which is ready to be handed over to the people of your constituency. In addition to that, we have a total of 91 homes ready to be handed over under the same Housing Recovery Project.
And that was Minister for Housing, Melissa Poppins-Skerritt. In excess of $4 million will be paid out in back pay to public officers and teachers within the next couple months. This follows the government of Dominica's successful salary negotiations with the Public Service Union and the Dominica Association of Teachers. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt told a press conference that public officers and teachers are also receiving a salary increase.
I mentioned last month that the government had concluded salary negotiations with the Dominica Public Service Union and the Dominica Association of Teachers and the Police Welfare Association for the period 2021 to 2024 and 2024 to 2027. The agreed upon salary measures have come into effect starting this September. Public officers in Dominica will receive an 8% salary increase, 3% in 2024-2025, 2% in 2025-2026, and 3% in 2026-2027 over the 2024-2027 period. Effective this month, teachers will receive salary increases on the same schedules, along with new allowances to support their work. Government has committed to the payment of a new resource allowance, and they will also receive their back pay. And the resource allowance, teachers have to buy sometimes manila paper, they may buy some markers, they may have to buy some glue, and so every teacher will be given an allowance to allow them to be in a position to purchase those items. During the months of October and November, both teachers, they're all public officers because they're represented by 2 different unions. They're differentiated. But we could say public officers will receive in excess of $4 million in back pay in the months of October and November.
And that was Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt. October is recognized across the region as Financial Information Month, aimed at building financial awareness and resilience. Speaking at the festival's regional launch, ECCB Deputy Governor Dr. Valda Henry highlighted the new First Step Savings Account, free to open with no fees, no minimum balance and 2% interest, designed to help the unbanked and underbanked. She also noted plans for a retail bond market to encourage households to move from saving to investing.
The FIM festival is so critical to convert savers into investors, which will then lead to the strengthening of the financial resilience of our citizens. A major milestone in this effort is the establishment of the basic bank account, known as the First Step Savings Account. Tailored for the unbanked and underbanked across the ECCU, First Step offers persons 18 years and older an easy and affordable entry into the formal banking system. The account is free to open, carries no maintenance fees, requires no minimum balance, and earns interest at 2% per annum, thereby removing barriers that have traditionally kept many outside of the formal banking system. So this froze from moving from saving to investing led the ECCB Monetary Council and the Regional Debt Coordinating Committee to approve the development of a retail bond market designed to encourage greater participation by household investors and to foster a culture of investment across our region. And we look forward to sharing more about this exciting development in the months to come. Today is just the introduction.
And that was Dr. Valda Henry, Deputy Governor, ECCB. Meantime, Alien Abel, Marketing Officer, National Bank of Dominica, spoke on some of the events planned for the month of October.
So for the month of October, as traditional, we would have our radio programs, along with airing out financial tips on our national radio. We will also have the live Kahoot session competition with our students at the Dominica State College. It was indeed engaging last year, and we are going to do it again this year. We are also going to focus on empowering and inspiring our youth through a workshop with our students from grades 4 to grade 6. That's in the rural communities in the east. This consists of 5 schools within that catchment area. Also, we will have social media engagement where all our FIM partners will be participating and discussing our saving and investment strategies. We are also going to support the University of the West Indies with a lecture which will focus on traditional community livelihood. Following that, we are also going to have our Cancer Society Walk, which is actually happening this Saturday, where we walk to support those who have cancer. We will also be supporting and donating to 3 societies, and they are the Dominica Cancer Society, the Dominica Dementia Foundation, as well as the Kalinago Child Support Foundation, Inc.
And that was Alian Abel, Marketing Officer, National Bank of Dominica. Broadcaster and former DBS employee Nazarene Gordon says the late Ted Daly has contributed to her professional development as a broadcaster. Daly, who worked at DBS Radio for close to 4 decades, passed in St. Croix on Sunday at the age of 76. Gordon reminisced about her time with the late Ted Daly at DBS Radio.
When I was first employed at DBS, Ted was the first person I sat with to observe, learn the console, the schedule, and all the other technical areas that the announcer would need to know. Ted was an easygoing person, direct, jovial, but fun to work with. You'll enter the studio, or when he enters, that broad smile followed by a hearty laugh. That was Ted. During my years at DBS, when I moved to the newsroom and hosted other shows, Ted was always a team player. The way he connected with his listeners was something I learned from him. In radio, you have to be the eyes and ears of the listener, and Ted did that very well. He was himself, he was unique, and this was something all announcers could learn from Ted. Even after I left DBS and moved to television, whenever I met Ted, it was like meeting an old colleague, and it's like I'd never left DBS. He loved what he did, and he was a broadcaster who brought passion to the profession. I extend sympathies to his family, his wife, whom I know, his friends and former colleagues. May he rest in peace.
And that was a former DBS employee and manager of the Catholic radio station in Dominica, Nazarene Gordon. Joey Lloyd has been endorsed as the caretaker executive member of the Dominica Calypso Association. This decision follows disputes that arose within the association regarding elections held earlier this month, which were deemed null and void. An extraordinary meeting was held on Saturday, September 27, 2025, during which the executive members of the Dominica Calypso Association resigned to facilitate the upcoming elections on October 11, 2025.
This action is not a long-term power grab, but rather I am a humble steward of our Constitution and the servant of the membership's trust. The outgoing executive has agreed in response to membership concerns and the provisions of Article 14 of our Constitution to allow me to stand temporarily as caretaker executive member. My sole intention in this interim rule is very clear: to organize and hold fresh, fair elections as soon as practicable, so that a fully compliant executive may be elected by the membership. And that election will be held on the 11th of October, 2025.
And that was caretaker executive member of the Dominica Calypso Association, Joey Lloyd, taking us to the end of this evening's National Focus. Up next is news from the region and international.
At Flow, loyalty pays back. That's why we're rewarding our customers with $400 in vouchers. That's like 5 months of your mobile bill back in your pocket. Simply add mobile to your current home internet plan and claim your $400 in rewards today. Loyalty pays back. That's how we keep your rhythm flowing.
DBS News.
And welcome back. Now news from the region. The Barbados Nurses Association has warned that the free movement of people under a CARICOM agreement could overwhelm Barbados' already stretched healthcare system unless urgent planning and resources are put in place. The BNA called for urgent dialogue on how the free movement of people will affect the health sector as Barbados prepares to open its borders to citizens of the 3 other CARICOM countries from Wednesday. BNA President Dr. Frey Paris told Barbados today that while discussions had been held on the framework for migration and standardization of qualifications, nurses has not been fully included in high-level talks about resources and staffing. Internationally, Iran says 120 of its nationals are being deported from the U.S. as part of U.S. President Donald Trump's crackdown on immigration. These individuals will return to the country within the next 1 or 2 days, as Iranian Foreign Ministry official told Iran's state news agency. He said most of those being flown into Iran via Qatar had entered the U.S. illegally, mainly through Mexico. There has been an increased number of Iranians entering the U.S. in recent years, including many who fear persecution at home. This brings us to the end of this evening's news. Up next is sports.
Covering the nation and beyond, DBS Sports Report.
And welcome to your DBS Evening Sports for today, September 30th for 2025. First off, Amir Django registered his maiden T20 half-century and Ramon Simmons got a 4-wicket haul as the West Indies hammered Nepal in the third and final T20 today. The Windies won the toss and opted to bowl first and were bowled out for 122. Kushal Bertel got 39. Ramon Simmons picked up a career best 4 for 15, Jediah Blades 2 for 20, and the Windies in reply smashed 123 for 0 in 12.2 overs, with Amir Django getting 74 not out of 45 balls with 5 fours and 6 sixes. Akeem August got 41 not out of 29 balls. The West Indies won by 10 wickets. West Indies T20 captain Akil Hussain says while he's happy with the win, he was disappointed to have lost the series.
I think to come out and give that sort of performance in the last game, in the end of the series, losing 2 games up front, I think it was an excellent effort, and it was quite clinical as well.
The bowling front set things up. Speak to us a little bit about Jediah Blades and, of course, Ramon Simmons and the way they went.
Yeah, I think when we looked at the pitch today, totally different pitch. These guys were very pleased to see such amount of grass on the pitch. But with that being said, I thought, they showed that learning took place today, and they went out and they just execute.
And we saw that with Ogis and Django with the bat finishing things off. You talk about clinical, that was.
Yeah, definitely. A new opening combination. Even though it was a small score, we had to set the platform and we had to be brave and take on the power play as well. And that's exactly what these guys did today.
What do you say to West Indian fans? Because there have been a lot of eyeballs of West Indian fans at home and from the diaspora who've been looking on at this series in the way that it went and how you finished it today.
I mean, we owe everything to them. We've been disappointing them for a while now. Hopefully we can sort of give them a positive message with such a clinical performance. But as I said, in the past, we've really disappointed them. And hopefully we can make that turn leading up to the World Cup.
And that was West Indies T20 captain Akil Hussain. Nepal won the series 2-1 to record their first series win over a full member nation. Nepal captain Rohit Podel says this is the biggest moment in Nepal's cricketing history.
Overall, I think the way we played in this tournament, I'm very proud of the unit, the way we played the first two games. We didn't turn up today, but still very happy with the performance which we made. We were playing our first bilateral series and winning it. Obviously, it gives a lot of happiness to the group, and I'm very thankful and grateful towards them.
Let us cast our minds forward and how this sets you up for the very, very important qualifiers coming up in over a week.
I think this series will give a lot of confidence to the boys, especially this series was the build-up of World Cup qualifiers. I think a lot of confidence has been gained by winning the series, and we'll love to take this momentum in the World Cup qualifiers and qualify for the 2026 World Cup.
And that was Nepal's captain Rohit Podel. West Indies spinner Carey Pearce says he's looking forward to the possibility of representing the West Indies team in the upcoming series against India. The 34-year-old Trinidadian was the leading wicket taker in the last CWI regional tournament, taking some 41 wickets. Pearce says he has always dreamt of representing the West Indies in Test cricket.
Man, it's a great honor, privilege to represent the West Indies. Something that I dreamt of when I was young. Watching West Indies play, like Sabran Lau and these guys, just watching Test cricket. So, I was really happy. I couldn't put together the words, or the feeling at that moment. I dreamt about playing Test cricket when I was younger, and I think as a cricketer, there's no other version of the game that they want to play than Test cricket. It's a great honor for me actually to play to make my debut, to get the first call, and hopefully make my debut. And as I said before, it's just a great honor, and to represent the people of the West Indies, and I would always want to represent that badge, and I just want to be that feeling, to be happy, and for my family, it's a great honor, as I said before.
Last season, the most recent first-class season, you topped the wicket chart at a very good average as well. Within that season, what were some of the thoughts that you had to yourself?
Actually, I was just playing my cricket, trying to enjoy my cricket. I think that was the key to my success this season and for the championship. I was out to enjoy my cricket and take the outcome out of it and give out 10%. I'm a cricketer, but always give out 10% when I reach on the cricket field. I leave everything on the cricket field, blood, sweat, tears. And I think that was my trademark this season, and it paid off.
And that was West Indies spinner Carey Pearce. Meantime, West Indies head coach Darren Sammy says the team is still motivated by New Zealand's results against India in India. He says while the series will not be an easy one, the West Indies has to put up a fight.
Of course it's a motivation. I mean, let's not take it for granted. India is very difficult to beat at home. We are aware of that, but like I told the guys in our little squad meeting yesterday, the mindset determines the skill set. If you come here with the attitude that we're playing against India and we can't win, then we're already defeating the purpose of us being here. The mindset must be a winning mindset. And yes, we've studied all the things that New Zealand did right, the roles that were played, the different areas that they bowled, and the way the batsmen, the skill set required, and that was successful against India. So yes, we will take inspiration from all of that, but I think the biggest inspiration comes from within our own self, the belief that we are here to compete and win. Something that has not been done, like I said, a long time, but that doesn't defeat the purpose of us coming here in this Test Championship cycle looking to win cricket games.
And that was West Indies head coach Darren Sammy. The first test against India starts on Thursday. The School of the Year in sports for secondary schools and primary schools will be announced Wednesday as the sports division stages the School Sports Awards ceremony. The 30th School Sports Awards will be staged at the American Canadian School of Medicine and will honor student athletes and schools for performances in the academy year 2024-2025. In excess of 200 awards will be distributed to deserving students and schools. This year's award ceremony has the theme Honoring Achievement, Inspiring Greatness. Prior to the distribution of awards, the award ceremony will hear addresses from the sports coordinator, the Member of Parliament for Portsmouth, the Honourable Minister for Culture, Youth, Sports and Community Development, Greta Roberts, and the featured speaker, West Indies cricketer Kavem Hodge. Still in more news in sports here, BA Grinders have advanced to the second qualifier in the Kalinago Premier League. They did so with a win over the GM Strikers in the first eliminator. BA Grinders took the match by 13 runs.
BA Grinders won the toss and elected to bat. They were restricted to 143 for 7 in 20 overs. Batting for Grinders, Kishon Vivil scored 36, Jason Lamoff 29, Abisha Etienne 20, and Radisson Pascal 19. Bowling for GM Strikers, Legs Maglaw took 3 wickets for 26 runs. Delaney Alexander, Kyron Phillip, and Miguel Drago took 1 wicket each. Needing 143 for victory, GM Strikers were pegged back to 130 for 9. Batting for GM Strikers, Haynes Aaron Vivil got 33. And Delaney Alexander, 18. Bowling for BA Grinders, Jason Lamoff captured 3 wickets for 14 runs. Abisha Etienne, 2 for 19. Frederick Paris and Darren Toussaint took 1 wicket apiece.
And that was league coordinator Alexander Burton. Point Ridge Thunder Kings will meet the Easy Lucati Bombers in the first qualifier this weekend. Prime Minister Roosevelt Scarrett has announced plans for the construction of an Olympic-sized swimming pool in Dominica. The Prime Minister says government intends to include the pool as a part of the athletics track facility which is being constructed in Point Round. The Prime Minister says the goal is to transform the area into a major sporting centre.
What we're looking to do is to have a master plan developed for that area. And part of the master plan will be to include an Olympic-sized swimming pool as well. And so do it properly. And so we're engaging a architectural/engineering firm who will give us that comprehensive master plan. So that obviously the first phase will be the setting down of the track and the associated amenities for the track and field. And simultaneously with that, we will also build the Olympic-sized swimming pool, and to turn that area into a real sports center enough. And look at other sports that we can position there. Even the issue of accommodation for athletes who may come from regional tournaments and able to reside there during the tournament. So there are a number of things that we're looking at in this. And so I'm hoping that very soon we can share with the public the master plan for this area and advise you on how we're going ahead of it. So I have directed the Ministry of Sports to step back a bit and to do it better than how they were proposing to do it in terms of the planning, and let us come up with a master plan on this so that we avoid any problems and issues. So rather than us looking at a narrow part of the development, let's look at master plan. We will not have all of the money to do everything at one time, but as you know what you need to do there and what you will have to do there and the associated costs, so that you can program yourself much better and people can journey with you in that particular exercise.
Meantime, the Prime Minister has announced that the tennis court at High Street has been resurfaced. There were concerns about the quality of the work done on the project, which is being funded by Pan Am Sports.
It has been resurfaced completely. As you know, there were 2 courts originally, so you have 2 courts there. It will be marked soon. The lights have been ordered. They will take some time to get there because the lights have been there are not for that purpose, but you'll have lights specifically for hard courts and tennis courts in particular. So that's good news for not only because this is not only for the city of Roseau, but for the entire country. As you know, this was the premier facility for tennis in Dominica. And the idea is to bring this back and also add additional things to it, where the tourists can come, can get tourists off the boats and they can go and play tennis there and they can pay to use it, and they'll buy food and they'll buy coffee and you'll have people selling the crafts and turn it into a nice little cultural center.
And that was Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit taking us to the end of this evening's news and sports. A special thanks to the DBS News and Sports team and link personnel, Ivona John Baptist Luque.
It's in the feeling in our we talk. It's in the meaning in our squad. It is the thing that sets us apart. Who we are. Cause the rhythm of life is pumping. Together going strong. No matter what we keep this going. Before we will go all in. Hands up in the sky. Celebrate and come let your rhythm flow.
It is 6:30 in the studios of DBS. It is time now for the announcements. We will begin with 2 death announcements. Stay tuned. We announce the death of Philomena Teresa Francis née Leblanc, age 94, Vacas, who resided at Soufrière. She died on Thursday, 18th September at her residence. She was the mother of Diana, Marvelyn, and Erin. She will also be remembered by her grandchildren, Kelby, Dion, Gianna, Renee, Emmanuel, Alana, Elijah, and Radia. Sons-in-law Leslie and Abdulaziz. Great-grandchildren Lucas, Logan, and Reagan. Sister-in-law Stella LeBlanc. Goddaughters Judith Ann Roll, Judith Etienne, and sister Lorraine Royer. Best friend Decima Roll. Numerous cousins, nieces, nephews, including Roselia, Anthea, Charlize, and Leanne, Patrick Antoine, Josh, Ononugu, Hugo Astefan, and Faithful Careers, Marietta Sanford and Schumer James, the Leblanc, Austri, Seaman, Royer, Etienne, Felix Evans, Tavernier, and Rule families. Others names too numerous to mention. The Vacas and Soufrière communities. The body of the late Philomena Teresa Francis née Leblanc of Vacas, who resided at Soufrière, will be transported from Lena's funeral home for viewing from 2 p.m. on Friday, 3rd October at the Soufrière Roman Catholic Church. The funeral mass begins at 2:30 p.m. and will be followed by interment at the Soufrière Catholic Cemetery. The management and staff of the Dominica Broadcasting Corporation extend deepest condolences to the family of the late Philomena Teresa Francis née Leblanc of Vacas, who resided at Soufrière. And we announce the death of Ivan Panthier, age 63, of Clifton, who resided in the United States and later at Bath Estates. He will also be remembered by his families, the Isaac family of Clifton, Panthier families of Portsmouth, Thibault, Marigot, and Clifton, Daniel families of Clifton and Portsmouth, close friends Desmond Kelshall, Pusha Bonin, Mrs. and Mr. Gordon, Michael Bell, and Shaft, relatives and friends, names too numerous to mention. The funeral for the late Ivan Panthier of Clifton, who resided in the United States and later at Bath Estates, will take place at 1 p.m. on Thursday, 2nd October at the Clifton Grace Baptist Church and will be followed by interment at the Clifton Public Cemetery. The management and staff of the Dominica Broadcasting Corporation extend deepest condolences to the family of the late Ivan Panthier of Clifton, who resided in the United States and later at Bath Estates. It is 27 minutes before 7 o'clock. Stay tuned for the general announcements on the Community Bulletin Board. Shawpay is pleased to welcome Courts Unicommer as a new biller on their platform. You can now pay your Courts hire purchase and ready cash loans at any ShawPay location island-wide. You can also make easy payments via their online website or mobile app. Visit www.shawpaybills.com or call 440-6000 for details on all the bills you